Well, what a treat it was over the weekend for another fantastic finish to the Masters right here in Georgia, right over just down the road in Augusta. Reggie Chatman has been covering it all week long. He's got the gear to prove it. If you didn't know, you certainly know now. Not one, but two pieces of merch here, Reggie, and those are fresh pieces of merch too.
So actually, this one's from last year. So
I misspoke.
I accidentally brought this one in. 2 years ago. My producer.
Accidentally. Okay, let's put some.
It was accidental.
Well,
I just happened to grab it.
I don't know
to
about
drink
that.
some water today. And the hat. This is a new one. I'm pretty sure this one's sold out, but I had to break the hat on set rule, but it just felt like the right opportunity, the right moment. There's not like this.
You were starting to become accustomed to your visits coming with props and gifts.
Yeah.
This is the second kind of merch visit in 2 visits. We love it when you come here. We can't wait to see what you bring next time. Let's talk about the gear in a moment, because there was a sort of a subplot and discourse about the gear and sort of the off-the-course environment at Augusta National. But let's start with what we saw actually on the golf course, because once again, a really exciting finish to the tournament. And once again, Rory McIlroy taking it home. He waited, 17 years for his first win, and now back-to-back champion.
It's funny. I can't really take credit for having guessed that it was going to happen. One of the guys that drives the golf course out to the course, he's like, "Oh, who's going to win?" I said, "Rory, of course." And it turns out I'm right. I've got no proof of it, so I can only hope that you guys believe me. But
I believe you on that one. I don't believe that you brought that water bottle by accident.
Totally accidental.
Can we pause here I'm sorry to cut you off, but as we look at this photo, these are, to somebody who maybe didn't watch the tournament, they look like a golfer who had a rough go of it. You see a lot of Rory McIlroy with his head in his hands, a lot of trees and debris in between him and the pin. Kind of a familiar place for him to be spending his time on the golf course, but managed to get it done anyway.
Yeah, it really was kind of the Rory McIlroy special, right? We all think about how last year when he had the lead, it ended up having to go to a playoff with Justin Rose just because he kind of crumbled down the stretch of last year's event. This year, got out to an historically good start. Going into the weekend, the biggest 36-hole lead in Masters history.
Lit it up on Thursday and Friday.
All gone. By the end of the day on Saturday. And you go into Sunday, he actually ends up losing the lead. Everybody else is coming up. Everybody's playing incredible golf. And somehow, some way, he makes the putts and the shots that he needs to be able to kind of play even par for the weekend and to be able to pull out the win. So a lot of credit for how he played going into the weekend. But boy, was it a little bit dramatic, especially heading into 18, where his shot off the tee goes into the rough, and he's got to try to hit it between some trees to get it back generally in the area. It goes into the
not even in the rough. He was he was deep into the pine straw. They had to move the patrons back twice. The volunteers there moved the patron line back once, and Rory actually walked down the line of patrons sort of waving like this, saying, and this is something I'm used to. If I ever had anybody watch me golf, I don't. But if I did, I'd say, get back and get out of the way.
Move out of the way.
Who knows where this is going to go.
Yeah.
He had something like a dozen trees in between him and the pin.
Unbelievable. And it's unfortunately, you lost the ball because of the broadcast, where it ended up. He did end up in the sand trap, gets out of the sand trap, and then up on the green and 2 putts for the win.
And looked comfortable on that
lead.
Green too.
Yes, and I think that's kind of the big thing, right? Since he was part of that final group, he knew what he had to do, right? I think it's interesting. There was the conversation with Scottie Scheffler, who won 17. He had a long putt that just lipped out of the hole, and you wonder how that final hole would have gone, or how Rory would have played it if he knew he only had a 1-stroke lead versus a 2-stroke lead. So at the end of the day, had the 2-stroke lead, can 2-putt that final hole, gets the second green jacket, and what an incredible scene it was on a beautiful, beautiful weekend in Augusta, Georgia.
I want to talk about a couple of guys who came up just short, Justin Rose and Scottie Scheffler, in a moment. But let's stick with Rory for a moment here, because he's I think this is his sixth major?
Yes, his sixth.
Decorated golfer. The Masters had historically been that one last mountaintop he couldn't quite reach. Almost haunted at Augusta National, and he has seen his share of blow-ups on Sunday at Augusta National. Last year, he sort of breaks that curse. This year, what do you think he was drawing on to maintain that composure? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he did look more composed even in the moments where things could go really awry. A tee shot gets him way into trouble, a bad iron. This year, he seemed more comfortable consistently getting out of trouble when he got into it.
Yeah, after the match, or the entire tournament, he talked about how last year there was that feeling and that extra pressure. It wasn't just the Masters; it was also wanting to complete the career Grand Slam. And so this year, having had the monkey off his back, he knew he had the ability to just play his game. And like you said, credit to him, because there's multiple points during this tournament as it's melting down on the front nine, even on Sunday, where and he lost the lead, where you're like, this is classic Rory. He's managed to blow this incredibly large lead, and it's going to come down to the end here. And I remember sitting there as he moves on 10 and thinking, somehow, some way, Rory's going to end up winning this tournament, even though it feels like it's been an absolute meltdown. So it just kind of speaks to what this tournament is, how special it is. 4 days at this incredibly difficult golf course, guys going up and down, certain players playing really well the back half of the weekend, or guys playing really well the front half of the weekend. But when you're Rory McIlroy, having had the jacket put on his back a year ago, to be able to do it again and stay composed in those moments, knowing he had done it before, and he's used to these moments where things seem to kind of crash down around him, and has seen it plenty of times, for able to come through and finish strong like that. Really, really impressive.
And who's to say, where this goes if he carries momentum into the rest of the season too. He's now the fourth, if I'm correct, Reggie, the fourth back-to-back Masters champion.
Yes. Last one was Tiger Woods back in 01-02.
Good company to keep if you are a professional golfer, and very rarefied air. We got about 60 seconds, Reggie, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the other fellas who came up just short, including Scottie Scheffler, the world #1 right now, and Justin Rose, who's come up just this close so many times at Augusta.
It's hard not to root for Justin Rose, man. You want to see him kind of succeed, especially after last year we managed to go to that playoff and Roy ended up pulling it off. So he's going to have another opportunity, of course, next year. You feel bad for him. Scottie, an incredible performance. He had a bogey-free weekend. It's the first time that's happened in I don't know how long. I think somebody said World War II. I mean, it's just an incredibly impressive performance, and he had the best performance of the weekend and still didn't win. So it just speaks to how good Scottie Scheffler was after being way out of it earlier in the rounds, goes in the weekend playing incredible golf. And I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Russell Henley, the local guy, of course, from Georgia.
Macon, Georgia native, Stratford Academy graduate who long ago in my TV career, I got to interview him when he was inducted into the local high school sports Hall of Fame in Macon. He was very kind to a very, very green reporter, and Russell Henley had a great Sunday at Augusta National as well.